and welcome to the first Ask Julie Anything of the year. And Happy New Year, everyone. I am Mariana Nadai, and I will be your host today. And I can't believe we are already in 2026. It's crazy. And
Whatever.
the same way we wrap up 2025, we knew there was no better way to kick off the new year than with another general session of our much loved Ask Julie Anything. So today, our co-owner and formulator, Julie and Lee, here with me, it's here to answer all your questions about your beloved fur family. So you know the drill, and don't be shy and ask Julie anything. But before we start, I want to remind you about some housekeeping rules. Please switch your chat to everyone so we can all join in the conversations. Use the Q&A box below to ask your questions. There's a button here saying Q&A, so you can click there and write down your question. The questions will be answered in order, first come, first served, and we will do our best to cover as many questions as possible. To ensure everyone has a chance to participate, we will be taking only one question per person, and please try to keep your question brief so we can have more time to read the questions and have more questions answered. And the most important thing of all, this session provides a judgment-free space with only health and happiness of our animals and the planet being our core goal. So I know you are not here for me, you're here for Julie. So welcome, Julie. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you. I started reading while you were talking because the very first question's really long. Um, uh, yeah, I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday and everything's going well. And, 2026 is going to hopefully, I feel, um, uh, I think there's going to be some big changes. I feel like there's going to be big changes. I'm finding a lot more people on board with like the philosophies that I've had for 30 years and, just talking about, um, you know, over medications and bad, and processed food and like what is causing our animals to be sick and to not live the length that they really should be. So I'm really feeling like there's just more and more, makes me very happy, more and more people out there uh, advocating for that whole, much more natural lifestyle and stuff. So I'm excited to see what happens. But this is a perfect question for that. Is this if you want to read it? I've already read it because it's really long.
Okay.
Goes down on the bottom as well.
Yeah, I saw that it continues like
Yeah.
3 or 4 messages after. So okay, it's the first question is from Tammy. I have an 18-month-old Doberman mix. He has been on raw food since birth. At around 7 months, he started getting very itchy, gnawing at his skin, dirty red ears, and very smelly even after a bath. His stools were soft and less formed. Around 10 months, we took him to the vet. They put him on a dewormer, medicated shampoo, and antibiotics. It did not help. When when then did 3 months of only raw venison to keep him on one protein, but he was not any better. Then we tried the ABA products, Leak Gut and Yeasty Beast. He seemed to get better, but then got worse, so we stopped and his stools continued to be soft. In September, we worked with a Chinese trained nutritionist and had him on all the mushrooms, a kidney and liver formula, plus the Pro Bands VM probiotics. We had him on raw rabbit, duck, and pork. The main improvement was his stool, which is now more formed, and he is drinking more water, but still itchy, smelly, dirty red ears, and Guani. Let me just keep scrolling because okay, I really don't want to keep him on the
It's because
medication.
he was suffering so much in December, we took him to the vet.
Oh, okay, thank
Okay,
you.
so keep Keep reading. It's okay.
I really don't want to keep him on the medication, as I know it's only a band-aid, but want to know what I can do to get to the root cause of this and have him better without the medication. He's only 18 months old.
Months. Yeah. Can she maybe put in the chat where she lives? Um, and anybody else that
In
has
Milton.
Milton, Ontario? Yeah. There's no Milton.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thanks. Okay, so um I think that when you start seeing like shifts like this when they're really, really young, what that normally means is that either he's been born with a pretty bad uh, microbiome in his gut, if and then if he's been vaccinated and been on crappy food and whatever, the list just goes on and on and on. So 7 months is, fairly young to have chronic disease, which this is what this is chronic disease. So the when you said that you put him on, unfortunately, what I'm looking at is because they did the whole dewormer and antibiotics, that would have just completely annihilated anything that was good in his gut. So you're not just starting from square one after that. You're actually like in the minuses, right? So, at 7 months, you don't know he was, not doing very well, itching, gnawing, soft poops, and then you went over to you know, the drugs and the antibiotics and dewormer, and then probably what would happen is that again, like I said, instead of being like, you know, at a 2 and ten's the best, he probably went down to like a -3 as far as his gut bacteria. So when you tried leaky gut and yeasty beast, he seemed to get better. This is a really important thing for anyone that's using our products to hear. Um, he was using it, and then he seemed to get better, but then it got worse. So you stopped. So I'm thinking worse meant got itchier. So what could have happened? I don't know. Again, maybe she can put it in the chat. That was pretty quick that she was able to put some stuff in the chat. But maybe you could let me know when you said he got worse. Did he get worse on the leaky gut or did he get worse on the yeasty beast or were you doing them together? Because that's an important piece. Is there a way you could put that in the chat?
Worse on the East.
Yeasty beast. Okay, so that makes all the difference in the world. Then switch to leaky gut. Okay. And then what happened on leaky gut? After he was on leaky gut, what happened? Did he just stay the same or did he keep getting worse? Oh, yikes. I mean, maybe sometimes, oh,
Worse.
worse with hot
Hot
spots
spots.
mainly. Okay. So this sounds to me like your typical,
And snoring.
um, pardon?
She said
Oh,
that hot
and
spots
not
mean
gnawing and gnawing.
gnawing.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
gnawing.
Okay. Um, so I would say that like I don't really believe in like healing a healing crisis and all. I shouldn't say I don't believe in it. Of course I believe in it. But really what it means is that if he got worse on yeasty yeast, then more than likely you had a yeast die off and that's why it got worse. If you did yeasty beast first. And then often our customer service will put you on um the leaky gut protocol because um, uh, yeast actually does destroy the gut so that the leaky gut even gets worse. But what happens sometimes is if the die-off hasn't stopped and then you start the leaky gut, what you're doing is you're ramping up their immune system even more so that the body continues to kill the yeast, which you think, oh, that's an amazing thing. That's really good, and it is. The problem is if it's doing it too fast. Everyone's always heard me say if you kill yeast too quickly, then it literally looks like the disease or the allergy or the skin disease is getting worse because it has all the same when the yeast dies, it produces even more toxins than when the yeast is alive. So it just looks exactly like the yeast is getting worse, but really it's not getting worse. It's dying too quickly and they're having a Herx reaction, it's called. So, and stools. Okay, so in September you went to the nutritionist and you put him on mushrooms and kidney support. That's great. Uh, a ProBenz probiotic. We had him on raw rabbit, duck, and pork. This is going to take a long time because I have to keep having questions, right? What the when he was on, so this looks like duck, rabbit, and pork. This is why it's difficult to really know what's doing what. Because if you put them on duck, rabbit, and pork, you've changed, obviously, because it's Chinese nutritionist, you've changed their like whether they're hot or cold, right? Like you put them on a completely different protein to, I think to reduce his heat. So that in itself can definitely support his stool. So I would say the reason that his stool got better is because his gut was too hot, and venison is actually quite hot, and rabbit, duck, and pork is quite cooling. Um, I'm just looking. Oh my gosh, that's a different person. Okay, good. Phew.
No,
Um,
but she said that the vet put him on a vegetarian kibble only, a
yeah,
parasite and monthly medication and daily Zenrela. He
yeah.
is better, much less itching. His ears are cleaner, and but he still smells a lot and seems to be always hungry. His energy is lower. Also, I know we are not solving the problem, but he needed some relief.
Yeah, no. There's no judgment that you do that because definitely uh it's really awful to watch your dog be so itchy. It's horrible. But again, is it the vegetarian kibble that's doing it? Is it the parasite and mite medication, or is it the drug for his itching, right? Like we don't know out of all of that stuff, including all the stuff before, it's really, really difficult to understand what's actually doing what. So, whoa, hang on, what happened here? Can you still see me? I don't know what happened to my thing. There we go. Okay,
We
good.
can see you.
Scared me. So I really feel like the most, because what you're asking me now is how do we get down to the core? And at my practice, I used to see a lot of this, right? People would come in and they would try every single food, they would try every single medication, they would try every single probiotic, every single supplement, and it becomes so incredibly confusing of what's actually doing what that um it just becomes really difficult to figure out what's helping and what isn't helping. But I can say your dog has, definitely chronic disease. He's either got, either leaky gut or really, really poor microbiome in his gut. He could have, environmental allergies. He could have food sensitivities. There could be a gazillion things going on. If this was my dog or if this dog came into my practice, probably the first thing that I would do is I would probably get a test from Gene Dodds. Uh I would get an allergy test or a sensitivity test from Gene Dodds. That way, you know what you can stay away from or what you should be staying away from, whether it's environmental or whether it's predominantly food. It's easy to do. You can just do it with a saliva chew that they send to your house if you don't know what it is, and you can do it in Canada. That's not a problem. And I think what I would do if he's better, if you're going to have to work with your vet to, I'm just going back and forth to the chat because I'm trying to find what what she did. There we go. So if this was my dog, I would be like, okay, you're gonna have to ask the vet to reduce all of your medication. So a parasite and mite monthly medication. If it's a mite medication, my question to you is, did they do a scraping and does he have Demodex? Because that's potentially what why he's put him on that. So did she no scraping, but did he mention mites? Did he mention mites or Demodex or even sarcoptic? If it was sarcoptic, you would have definitely said because it's contagious. Said it could be that sarcoptic or Demodex. Demodex. Okay. So when you think of Demodex, Demodex is a mite, but the you're in this really, really weird place now, right? Okay, so you're in a place where if you have, for everyone listening, really bad skin disease can really look like Demodex. It can be Demodex or mange, but often it's Demodex. And because he was scratching above his eyes, yes. And what I've seen a lot is that they can get skin disease from their gut not being very healthy. And then because of the stress and because of all the uh, and because of all of the drugs and different things, they can get Demodex from stress. It's a very, very common thing that you see in pound dogs, dogs that are in rescues and things like that. Demodex is something that young dogs get when their immune system is in the tank and they're really stressed. But if your dog truly has an allergy or an immune mediated disease, you don't want to gear up his immune system too much because his immune system is already too high. So this is really important for you to hear. You're going to want to give a probiotic that has an immune modulation so that you're supporting his immune system, but you're not ramping it up. And this is the other thing that could have happened is that if you're giving the leaky gut protocol, it can really strengthen their immune system if it starts to really work on their gut. It doesn't ramp it up too high, but what the body does is the body will then push out what's not good, right? So it pushes out the disease, it pushes out, it gets stronger. And like you said, he doesn't have as much energy. This is a really important question for everyone that's listening to hear. And that's because when you're looking at an entire body, when an animal's really itchy and but his energy's good and he's eating well and he's maintaining his weight, and then he goes to not itching so much, not maintaining his weight and not being as energetic, we use the term suppression for that, which means that you've not only suppressed the disease, but you've suppressed the dog's overall health in a way. So again, I know 1,000,000%. I've been through this with lots and lots of people in my practice, lots of people with, in my own rescues, everything. And it's a crappy, crappy thing to watch. So what I would suggest is from a perspective of drugs, you're going to have to work with your vet. I don't know if it was a nutritionist. Hopefully your vet will be open enough to say to him or her that you want to start to decrease the drugs. You don't want to take him off cold turkey, especially if he's doing better. You're going to want to either choose like to continue the mite one and maybe stop the other ones, but you definitely are going to have to please don't do it with just stopping everything because you definitely don't want to do that. And then what I would do, so you want to speak to your vet, you want to start to slowly reduce it, not stop everything, but slowly reduce it. You could potentially leave him on the vegetarian food just because then there's no potential protein that's going to flare it, right? So you're not just throwing everything out. You're going to maybe keep one thing like the vegetarian food for now. And then I would add, from a food perspective, I would add more real food, right? So like if you're going to do vegetables and things like that, like give him real vegetables, like vegetables from your house, that cooked vegetables from your house, just so he gets something live. And then I would, if you did the leaky gut, you've probably done the rebalancer, but I would, if you have the rebalancer still at home, I would continue using the rebalancer. And I would also then use if you have the liquid leaky gut, the gut seal, I would use rebalancer on him still, and I would use the gut seal. And then from a probiotic perspective, I would put him on our Wolf probiotic. And the reason that I would do that is I would do that so that he's continuing to get a probiotic, but a different probiotic than anything else. One that does have an that we've researched for immune modulation, and it has immune modulation, and it's got turkey tail. And turkey tail will help him with his immune system to fight off this, if it is Demodex. It'll help fight off the Demodex, but it also modulates the immune system as well. So for now, I would try that and then let our customer service know once you've spoken to your vet, let us like give us an update of when you've switched them over to those two things. And then I would just try and hold steady at that and see what happens.
She's asking if she should start the rebalancer gut seal in Wolf now or should get the blood work in addition to gene dots.
So it's a saliva test with Gene Dodds. So you do a saliva test. You can do them all at the same time, right? Because there's nothing in a homeopathic that he's going to be sensitive to, like from an allergy or a sensitivity test like Gene would be doing. So you don't have to worry about gut seal or rebalancer. And I doubt very much he's allergic to turkey tail mushrooms, especially when you said that he was on mushrooms and he was doing okay. And super slow like that. And we're probably going to wind up incorporating everything else that you have there, but we're going to do it like really, really slow, like really, really slowly, so that we know exactly what's doing what. And then you can, once he's there, like once he's in this place and you get your thing back from Gene Dodds, then you can look at what kind of meat that he's absolutely 100% not sensitive to. And then you could probably start incorporating some meat. And I think you could even mix it with the vegetarian food. Like I'm sure if it's a vet one, like don't get me wrong, I don't think you should stay on that. But I just don't think you should be jumping all over the place so much, or you're really not going to be able to figure out what's helping and what isn't.
Thanks, Julie. Um, yes, Tammy, keep us posted. Leslie's asking here, hi Julie, my 10-year-old dog has two fatty cherry tomato sized lumps, both on the left side, one on belly near groin and the other on ribs near armpit, which have been forming over the past 2 years. He otherwise seems in good health. Are there any products or protocols you would recommend? Thank you very much. From Toronto. Details: Labradoodle, Mayo, DIY raw diet, and regularly has kefir and some supplements. We have done the leaky gut protocol twice to good success and rotating antiparasite H.
So, if you have the leaky gut protocol, I wonder if you still do have rebalancer. You probably do. I would give him Rebalancer. Well, first of all, you could, I don't know whether you've had these lumps checked out. Are they lipomas? Like, what are they? Right? You probably should go, and I'm not saying you should have a fine needle aspirate or anything like that. I'm not recommending that, but I am recommending that you just take them in quickly, and they give you kind of um, you know, a guesstimate of what it might be, but if they say to you they really need to do a fine needle biopsy, I'm definitely not telling you to do that. So listening to this, I would do the rebalancer again, and then I would definitely get him on the on our cell vital defense. So, like I said, I don't know what these they're saying fatty cherry tomato size lump. So maybe you've already been told it's a lipoma, like a fatty size, if a fatty cyst, or not cyst, but a fatty lump. If that's the case, then there's a remedy called phosphorus that has had, you know, pretty good success with at least maintaining them so that they don't grow more. But, if he's on a raw diet and he's got good energy, I would definitely put him on on Vital Defense and do the rebalancer. I would do it once a week for 1 month. So like, once, like every Monday, one dose of it for 1 month. And if you see a shift, if you see it getting maybe a bit smaller, definitely not bigger, then what you could do, because really what you want to do is avoid it getting really big. Avoid them getting really big. And you can do that with, Vital Defense might be able to support your dog with that just from the high antioxidants. And um, Rebalancer's good for lumps and bumps, and so is phosphorus. So that's what is that rotating anti-parasite? Anti-parasite what? Do you see it?
H is herbs and parasite
Oh,
herbs.
anti-parasite herbs. Okay, cool. Yep, that's fine then.
There's a question here that I think it's because you mentioned phosphorus. Then Pat is asking what potency of phosphorus and twice daily.
I don't like doing things so often like that. I would do 30C, low potency, and I would do it a divided dose once a month, actually. So a divided dose means you do it like morning, bedtime, morning, or bedtime, morning, bedtime. That's actually, I prefer to have it at night when they're sleeping. So, and do it once a week like that for 1 month.
Deborah is asking, a vet dermatologist believes that our cat has Bowen's disease, which may have started from a viral infection. While we wait for a biopsy, he's currently on a topical cream to try to clear some of the lesions. But in the meantime, what can we do to boost his immune system?
Definitely our Felix Flora for sure. Felix Flora. And if they think it started from a viral perspective, if he'll take Vital Defense, definitely Vital Defense or phytoplankton, like our phytosynergy would be is I would say the best thing for that.
Thanks. Christina is asking, hi Julie, I have two questions. Do you have any pet or pet safe binders you would recommend or trust? Currently trying to detox from a very moldy home, and my girl has been cycling through pretty much all ABA products for the past 3 years, per your recommendations. And the second, what are your thoughts on hypochlorous acid for cleaning toys and even skin, like cleaning their paws with it. Thank you so much for sharing your precious time and wisdom with us. So grateful for you ladies.
That's nice. So, Christina, when you say safe binders, are you talking about something to bind the the mold? Can you answer that question in the chat?
Yes, she said correct.
Correct. Okay. Um, and it is a dog or a cat or both.
GR.
Jack Russell Terrier dog. Okay. Um, I would say leaky liver tonic is one of the top on my list. Not even as not so much as a binder, but more for just to be sure that nothing's settling in any of the organs like the kidneys, the liver, the gallbladder, anything like that. So I would do that. Are you in Canada or the United States? Florida. Okay.
US.
So what I would do is I would go on Phytophthora because of the fulvic and humic acid. And I would go on, yeah, liver tonic, Phytophthora because of the fulvic and humic acid. And I would go on positive immunity because it binds endotoxins and things like that in the gut. So, and helps to just literally take them and move them out, and it really supports the IgG, IgA, so the immune system to help the body like push through anything like that. Now, as far as cleaning toys or skin, I would almost go with colloidal silver like our and make sure that it's the colloidal silver that doesn't kill bacteria, topical bacteria. But our silver sol colloidal silver doesn't do that. And I would because it's really good for I've used it now a few times with mold exposure, like some rescues that I got in, mold exposure, like inhaling it from mold exposure with horses. So horses that have been eating moldy hay or been in a moldy situation where there's mold is putting like inhalers on their nose and using the colloidal silver for it. And it's a antifungal. So antibacterial and antifungal. So that's what I would use. And if they lick it, it's totally fine because then it goes into their system, into their body.
Amazing. Allison is asking, what is the best way to support a 12-year-old cavalier with severe MVD and Chiari malformation? He's
Mm.
on pregabalin and Entresto and vetmedin. Cognitively seems to be skipping a bit also.
Cognitively seems to be skipping a bit. So I think she's probably meaning like when you say cognitively skipping a bit, do you mean like he's cognitively not doing as well or declining or when he's walking, he's tripping? What do you mean by that? Allison, if you can you put that in your
The chat.
and vet medin. Okay.
Late, later in the evening, he is more anxious.
Okay. Aw, okay. All right. Well,
Sometimes he stares off, she also said.
yeah. Well, the first thing I would probably use is our wolf because it has such a strong gut-brain access. When it comes to the like it's good for lots of things, including inflammatory stuff, things like that. But given his age, given the, the drugs that he's on, I would probably do jump for joints, wolf, and I would start off with jump for joints and wolf, and then see how he's doing, and then I would move into vital defense.
She mentioned she has been on gut soothe, that his has been on gut soothe, liver tonic, and healthy gut for years.
Okay, gut soothe, liver tonic, and healthy gut. Definitely keep him on the liver tonic. If and gut soothe might be really good, like from a perspective of decreasing inflammation around any kind of tissue with the N-acetylglucose or N-acetylglucosamine. But I would definitely be adding the jump for joints, and I would definitely be adding wolf, and you could maybe rotate them if you want, right? You could rotate wolf with maybe healthy gut. It's not a digestive enzyme, but and if he's been on it for years, I'm a little worried of taking him off of it if he's doing well for that. But I would put him on wolf because of the turkey tail as well and the gut brain access for his like for the cognitive thing. And then I would put him on jump for joints. Just do those two things to start. Just add those two things. And then in a few weeks, like 3 weeks, see how he's doing. See if you see a difference in his, less staring, his mobility, his energy, all of that stuff. See if you see that improving. If it is, then just keep going. And then I would probably add in vital defense somewhere, maybe, and you don't have to like overdo anything. So you can, what you can do with vital defense is you could give the recommended amount, maybe for like, because you're doing so much other things, the recommended amount, um, once a day, and then like for a little while, for 3 weeks, and then you could start looking at what it would look like just giving it to him 3 times a week. But start with the other two first and then go from there. See, like let us know if his energy improves or does he seem more mobile or more focused.
Amazing, thank you. Tina is asking, she has a 3-year-old Jack Russell Terrier, very bad allergies. Takes allergy serum, steroid, Vectil P, Apocal, omega-3 all daily. Medicated shampoo, still scratches like crazy. Rough mouth, stomach, going area, armpits, tried many different remedies. What, if anything, could we do for him?
Tina, where are you? Where do you live?
Let me see if she's still here with us.
Is there any way, I don't, well, the reason I'm asking you where you live is so I could maybe recommend a, a more holistic vet, because that's a lot. Like allergy serum, steroid, like Venectyl P, Apoquil, medicated shampoo, and he's still scratching. My concern, like, I'm not telling you what to do, that's for sure. But I am definitely telling you a 3-year-old dog that's on all of those immune suppressive drugs. And the other thing that's really interesting is that at the allergy serum, I don't know whether you mean allergy injections, but if you're talking about allergy injections or they've gone and actually are doing the where they take what he's allergic to and injecting him with that. It's kind of all over the map because you're decreasing his um is that her, Ottawa? No, it's a different.
No, it's a
Okay.
different person.
You're trying to suppress his immune system with Venectyl P and Apoquil, but then the allergy serum is a little bit dicey because it is sort of wanting the body to be either I don't know if you want to call it stimulated, but reactive to to
She's in New Brunswick. Sorry to interrupt you.
oh, she's in New Brunswick. Okay. Um, what that does is it kind of initiates the immune system to set up um, uh, its defenses with what he's allergic to. So it's a little bit all over the map, this all of this stuff that you're giving him at one time, and he's only 3 years old. Ter he's a terror. It's funny. I would, oh my gosh, I would try to get him off of that. You definitely can't stop it. You have to work with your vet. But it doesn't look like he's on anything from us, right? Doesn't look like he's on anything from us. It doesn't sound like what's he eating? Like what's his diet? He's not. What's his diet? Hopefully she can vegetarian diet. From the vet, he's allergic to chicken. From yeah,
Yeah.
vegetarian. All right. Well, again, here we go again, right? Like I don't know if you've ever put him on allergic to grass, mold, and cedar. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, I have to just be super honest and straight here with you, Tina. I'm not a big component or believer in the allergy tests that they take his blood that the vets do. I'm really not I'm very disappointed in all of them. I don't feel like they're that accurate. I would highly recommend that you do a test with Gene Dodds. Emily, can you put it in the chat, please? Gene Dodd, like homeocan or homeopats saliva test. I would definitely do that. And like I was mentioning to the other person, and if you want, keep him on the vegetarian diet for now if he's really allergic, if they think he's allergic to different kinds of proteins and whatever. But I think allergic to grass, mold, and that's probably cedar, right? Um,
Yeah, it's cedar. She said it.
yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, mouth, stomach, groin area, armpits, tried very many different remedies. I wonder what she tried. Um, oh, okay. I would try putting him on the leaky gut protocol, and I would add mold. Is he allergic to mold? Where'd it go? Oh my God, I've lost it already. Allergic grass, mold, and cedar.
Cedar. Hmm.
Grass, mold, and cedar. Yeah, I would put him on the leaky gut protocol. And in that leaky gut protocol, there's a thing called rebalancer, and you're only supposed to use it for 3 days. I would I would use it for twice a day for 2 weeks. And I would talk to your vet about reducing reducing all of this. If he's not getting better, you're giving your dog a lot of heavy duty medication. And if he's still scratches like crazy, you need an alternative to this. That's for sure. And you can there's lots of vets on our website that are in the US that do like consultations through video, right? Like video consultations, um, even though they're outside of Canada, or maybe there's some in Canada, but not in New Brunswick. And I would highly, highly recommend that you get a hold of someone or my friend Andrea Ring, who's a incredible homeopath. But get some help. Definitely get some help and start talking to your vet and tell them that you want to start reducing all of this medication. Maybe stay on the medicated shampoo, maybe stay on the food, like stay on those two things, but that you really want to start to decrease his allergy serum, steroids, and Apoquel. But don't stop at cold turkey, whatever you do, because then he'll have a rebound effect and it'll be a nightmare. He'll be 100 times probably worse. So do the leaky gut protocol, start the leaky gut protocol, stay on the rebalancer for at least 3 weeks, maybe even a month, twice a day for a month. And I just feel like I want you to add something like a mushroom or something. It wouldn't hurt to put him on diet, also to put him on vital defense. So leaky gut protocol and vital defense, but stay on the rebalancer for a longer period of time and try and get a hold of either Andrea, if someone can put Andrea's contact, if she's booked or if you have a hard time getting a hold of her. Um, then there's many vets on our website that do if you can't get to them, do phone consultations. I just read on the chat that, fecal transplant changed her dog's life. If you can get a fecal transplant done, it's really, for me, I'm not a massive advocate to it unless, did someone say Julie doesn't believe in them? I just, oh, um, uh,
I don't believe Julie does individual consults anymore.
okay. But what I would do is try and get like there's certain fecal transplants that I think are okay. It depends on where the poop is coming from. If you're going to do a fecal transplant with a dog that's been vaccinated and on kibble and things like that, it's just not going to be the same as getting a fecal transplant done with fecal from a dog that has not been vaccinated, been on raw food. So try really hard for anyone that is doing fecal transplants to try so, so hard to be sure, or even fecal pills, anything like that, that you're getting the fecal that's coming from dogs that haven't been vaccinated, like ever, and have been on either generations of raw. It's going to make a big difference.
Thanks, Julie.
Okay.
Jonathan is asking, does your love bug and other probiotic lines that contain prebiotics potentially feed the yeast overgrowth? Do you sell a probiotic with S. Boulardii to assist with controlling the pathogenic yeast, aside from the S. Boulardii only being in the ECB's protocol? You will have incorporate or sell it separately. Can you recommend a probiotic to help with her allergies and currently yeast growth aside from the love bugs? I was considering Phytophthora, although I am unsure of my prebiotic question.
So, we only have Boulardii in our Yeasty Beast, and that's for that one reason. You know, when it comes to yeast overgrowth, I feel like the number one reason that I see anybody's, doesn't matter who they are, whether it's our probiotics, somebody else's probiotics, I feel like just giving one, two, three, three strains is where you find the confusion and the concern about probiotics feeding yeast or feeding yeast overgrowth or I shouldn't say probiotics, prebiotics. there's many different kinds of prebiotics. So when you think about prebiotics, the majority of prebiotics that are being used out there, this is a really good question because Mariana, someone I can maybe I know it was in the chat. It shouldn't have been in the chat, but there was something in the chat about SIBO. So when I'm answering Jonathan's question about yeast overgrowth, it's kind of it will kind of like bleed into the SIBO into some SIBO questions. So there's all different kinds of prebiotics. So there's FOS, some fermentation companies like there's lots and lots of very reputable, goat milk and fermented freeze-dried foods and things like that. And they literally use sugar as a prebiotic. And when that, I don't, for me, I have a very, very strong opinion on prebiotics, and we were the first to the market to use instead of using prebiotics, using turkey tail as a prebiotic, using chlorella as a prebiotic, and the reason that I started looking at that is because I wanted to move away from anything that was a sugar-based prebiotic. Um, any fiber is prebiotic. So if you're feeding your dog pumpkin, right? So if there's pumpkin in a probiotic, pumpkin is a prebiotic. Fiber is any kind of fiber is prebiotics. It's that simple. I think we're getting out of hand when people really aren't understanding or haven't been in sort of that looking at it that way. So when you look at things like chlorella or when you look at turkey tail, that's like not even having a prebiotic and going out and having a functional and giving your animal a functional supplement, right? Like a medicinal mushroom or a an antioxidant like chlorella. So so when you're looking at our line, if you were to go into the wolf or you were to go into our soil and sea, you don't need to worry about prebiotics feeding yeast overgrowth in any way, shape, or form because it's a completely different philosophy. And we were, like I said, first to the market. I don't even know who else has even done anything like that, like we have with our own R&D, because I wanted to be sure that that we were giving the probiotic with something that would assist the viability of the bacteria without creating something like you were saying, potentially feeding a yeast overgrowth or SIBO. So when you look at SIBO, small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, we have the same concern, right? We have exactly the same concern. That's why I created Soil and Sea. And Soil and Sea we're talking SIBO now, not yeast, but soil and sea is specifically was created when I formulated that 9 years ago when I did a lecture in Chicago for Dogs Naturally magazine about SIBO. People weren't even really knowing what SIBO even was back then. And I wanted to do a probiotic, a soil-based probiotic, and not use a fibrous prebiotic. And chlorella is not a fibrous, it's completely different. It's a cell. So it works differently from a prebiotic perspective. So, but things like pumpkin, pumpkin is a prebiotic. It's a great prebiotic and it's great for the gut and it supports viability of probiotics exponentially, but it's 100% a prebiotic and because it's a fiber. So it would be considered, it would land in that prebiotic thing like you're talking about. So does FOS. So does inulin. So does chicory. So does um, like many different things fall into that same category. So when you're looking at our wolf with turkey tail or our soil and sea with chlorella, those two probiotics are specifically designed to be able to play very friendly with yeast and with SIBO. So yeah, and S. Boulardii is in the one specifically for yeast, right? Without having any other probiotics strains at all or bacterial strains at all in it. So I'm not sure if um yeah, Phytosphlora, no. If you're really thinking, if you're really wanting to go down that road of not wanting a prebiotic, then I wouldn't choose Phytosphlora because it has larch in it, right? And larch is definitely a fibrous prebiotic. There's no doubt. But turkey tail isn't, and neither is chlorella. And in the uh, obviously Yeasty Beast itself has S. Boulardii and nothing else that would be considered a prebiotic.
Great, thanks. Ashley is asking, what does it mean when dogs constantly leak fabric?
Huh. Well, it can mean all kinds of things. It can mean that they've got um, acid reflux. It can mean that they're stressed. It can mean that they're itchy somewhere that they can't scratch. I've seen dogs with anal gland problems, lick and lick the rugs, lick things because it's itchy, it's bugging them, and so they have that lick reflex. But I don't know. I'm just wondering if there's anything else that you could tell me that's different, or is it just that they're licking fabric? It can also be an emotional thing. They could start doing it as a stress reliever. They can do it if they're, anxious. They can do it if, it can almost become like biting your nails, like it can become like a habit, right? But the habit's attached to something, whether that's boredom or sadness or anxiety.
Hmm, thanks, Julie. Carrie is asking, do you have any supplements for a dog with diabetes and pancreatitis?
Liver tonic and go to. So, uh, pancreatitis, liver tonic is really good for the pancreas. And go to pancreatitis, the number one, my opinion and opinion of lots of, board certified veterinarians, friends of mine, things like that. It's been a long time. Even, my one clinic, we were, very integrated. We had a huge surgery and we had ultrasounds and x-rays and it was highly equipped, rehab centers, everything, the whole nine yards. And um, the number one thing that we dealt with pancreatitis was pain relief. So if your puppy's got pancreatitis, I would say CBD oil, go-to, our go-to remedy is really good. Our homeopathic go-to remedy, you can give it 3 times a day. And from a perspective of supplements, I would just say liver tonic right now, and if potentially soil and sea. We're talking about soil and sea, um, soil and sea probiotics. So those would be the three. But you also, chronic pancreatitis or acute pancreatitis. I don't know what this is. If it's got diabetes, I would say that it's probably had pancreatitis for like not you haven't seen the pancreatitis, but maybe has had it for a long time, like subtly, is how do you say it? Kyla? how do you say the red light therapy thing that I recommend?
Uh,
Kaya.
Kaya or Kala or Kaya? I never
I
remember.
think it's Kaya. Emily, is it Kaya? Um,
Kala,
Kyla. I just ordered like 3,000
Kala, Kala.
$3,000 worth of stuff from them. I got it's sitting, oh, it's right there. I could have just looked at it. I got their bed. They have a dog bed now, which is like so exciting for me because I just love their products. Um, and they have an infrared dog bed. It's called Buddy Bed. But that would be good for pancreatitis, but they also have a handheld one, like a small one, and using it right over the back over his back and sort of under his abdomen or her abdomen, but right over his back. It really helps with pancreatitis a lot.
Great, thanks.
Okay.
Andrea,
Sorry. Yeah. The SIBO protocol, no one's been able to provide it. I thought we found it.
uh, I thought Emily sent to the other person. Oh, it was
Oh no, that was GERD.
GERD. Yeah.
Okay, so Emily, do you know where the SIBO one is? I don't know the SIBO protocol. Is that Emily?
Yeah.
Okay. I literally, Carrie, honestly, I was looking at it. Oh my gosh, I was looking at Mariana, just remind me after. Like I literally just found the file of my whole lecture in Chicago. So, Carrie, if I can get that lecture downloaded into like a PDF, it would probably be very helpful for you. Um, so let me see what I can do from that perspective. But SIBO in general, in general, you want to stay away from, that's the other thing. I don't know. Was his name Thomas? Sorry, I'm terrible with names. What we were just talking about with yeast. But
Jonathan, I guess.
Jonathan, so with SIBO again, you want to stay away from probiotics that are supposed to be in the large intestine. So, lactobacillus, any kind of bifidus. I would be only using a probiotic that's a soil-based probiotic. So again, Soil and Sea, I formulated Soil and Sea specifically for SIBO. So I would be using that, and like as far as like products go, and you want to stay low fiber when it comes to their food as well for a while. So, and it's not long term, right? It's just to stop when you like I wouldn't even for SIBO, I wouldn't even be recommending our Love Bugs or Gut Soothe or I wouldn't be recommending any probiotics other than um other than the soil probiotics. I wouldn't be recommending any other products because or any other probiotics because you don't want to give a probiotic that would be naturally found in the large intestine. And that's because that's what's happening, right? You're getting seepage from the large intestine and you're getting bacteria living in the small intestine that shouldn't be in the small intestine. So you want to kind of starve them out, right? You don't want to give more fiber to have those the bacteria in SIBO is not pathogenic bacteria, right? You know, um, it's not like bad bacteria. It's bacteria that shouldn't be up in the small intestine. It should be growing down in the large intestine. So you want to try and stay away from probiotics that would be found in the large intestine and hence why I are predominantly found in the large intestine. That's why I did the Soil and Sea. So that's the only one that I would use is soil and sea. And your a low fiber diet, and you don't want to stay on a low fiber diet for a long time. You only want to stay on that low fiber diet for the length of time that the soil-based probiotic can outweigh the large intestine bacteria. And then once you start to see them improving, then you can start to add fiber back into their diet or more fiber back into their diet. So you should be able to find, I think I might even have a SIBO diet, but I think if you Googled SIBO SIBO diet, you could follow a SIBO diet, which is very low fiber.
Thanks, Julie. Andrea is asking, last month, oh, it's about the SIBO protocol.
So
Okay.
we're on the NIDA,
No
right?
one has been able to provide it and
Yeah, we
elaborate.
already went through that, right?
Yeah, yeah. Nida is asking, one, my friend's pit bulls are very yeasty and itchy and are on allergy meds, Benadryl, and eat kibble. What can we give them to support better gut health and overall health the skin? And what is a good pro and prebiotic for my two poodle mixes? They are on gently cooked food with balanced mix ins from Dr. Harvey's. Need a good basic gut support to put them on, as well as good omega supplements. Dogs are both under 25 pounds.
Okay. These questions actually are really good because they're going to be helpful for anybody watching. Because a basic, when you say what's a good basic one, what is a good probiotic for my two mixes, right? They need a good gut support. So if you're not dealing with SIBO, right? Um, like I said, SIBO or massive yeast, right? If you're not dealing with those two things, if you're dealing with, just like a little bit of itchy skin or, soft stools, or you're looking at just keeping gut healthy for your health and longevity of your animal, I can't tell you one good one because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in the kitchen sink. I don't believe that you dump everything into sort of one be all end all, the best of everything, and you just feed that forever. I feel like the gut gets lazy. I feel like it's incredibly important to rotate your probiotics. And people always say, why do you have so many probiotics? Why can't you just make one good probiotic or take one probiotic and mix them all? Take all your probiotics and mix them together. It would be so much easier. Da 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 da. It would be easier, but it's not the way your gut works. So my personal belief is that your gut needs to be educated. Guts can get lazy. They need to be um uh your immune system and your and bacteria in your gut need to stay sharp. It needs to have different things, right? That's why I don't believe in getting rid of all yeast. I don't believe in not having like some amounts of Clostridium, some amounts of E. coli, some amounts of pathogenic bacteria because it keeps the immune system and the bacteria and the strains of bacteria on their toes. So for me, you rotate probiotics. That is my opinion on how to create the healthiest gut for your animals. So, and people. So what I would say is you could go on, you could go on our wolf and then you run out of wolf and you just sit that this is where it is easy because I've made it simple. Then you go on to phytophthora. And then you go off of phytophthora, then you go on to soil and sea. You don't give them all at the same time, right? I would never ever recommend that. That's we've designed our probiotics to rotate. So you could do wolf, you could do phytos, then you could do soil and sea, then you could do gut soothe, then you could do healthy gut, then you could do like you when you rotate them, you allow the body you allow the bacteria to form and procreate and create this balance of what's needed and what's not, rather than jamming the same thing in and day out, right? And saying, just grow, and then and then people wonder why they send their dog poop in and they're so deficient in one thing and then too much in another thing. You want to feed diversity of all different kinds of strains of probiotics. You want to stop some, then you want to start some, then you want to stop some, then you want to start some, and the body will know what it needs to grow more of. Like the body is so brilliant given the choice. But we have this tendency to feel like, there's like one magic pill. And that's not what happens. And the incredible thing, I think, even with our vital defense, let's say, is in our research, it's phenomenal how, given the right tools, the body knows where to send it. So when we look at vital defense and we look at it as cell health, right? So if we're looking at vital defense and we're thinking, okay, so it helps cells. So it helps the cells of the eyes, it helps the cells of the skin, it helps the cells of the heart, it helps the cells of the of the liver and the kidneys and the joints and the blood and the all of this stuff, right? Because our whole a body is full of cells, but it doesn't target one specific cell. It you feed this to your animal, and then the body sends out that nutrient, that support to the cells that are needed, right? Because every single animal and every single person is different. What is going on with my cells is different than what's going on with Mariana's cells. What's going on with my three dogs, all three of them have different issues with different things, right? But if I was to give vital defense, I would know that they're going to be that product is going to go where it's needed to go. It's not like, like I said, the be all and end all, the one thing that does everything. It is, all of our formulations are specifically formulated to work with our innate intelligence, the innate intelligence of a body, whether it's a dog, cat, person, horse, it doesn't matter. And when we formulate with that in mind, the body can actually do its job, which is to heal. So it's I wish it could be as easy as, one basic probiotic and, you just, has everything in the kitchen sink in it and it's going to do everything. But that's just not how our bodies work. And that's not how your dog or your cat's body works either. So rotating your dog's probiotics is the best advice I could give you. And the other thing interesting too, quickly, because he's on Benadryl, is the dogs are on Benadryl, your friend's dogs. Our liver tonic has your liver is what sort of regulates, is part of the regulation system of your histamine. Benadryl is to decrease histamine in the body, right? So if you want to help support the histamine, these pit bulls could be on definitely could be on liver tonic. If they're eating kibble, my opinion would be, if they're eating kibble, they should be on to dampen their kibble with, if you could get them to dampen their kibble with like bone broth, and then use our healthy gut, which is a digestive enzyme with 14 strains of probiotics in it. So trying out just those two things, and potentially, because they're pit bulls, like saying this today, is our rebalancer. They've probably been vaccinated, just to try to clear that vaccine thing. And Thuya and silica is really good for itchy dogs. And, putting them on healthy gut because they're on kibble to help them with the digestion of the kibble. And it's got 14 strains of probiotics in it. So that's what I would recommend, and liver tonic.
Thanks, Julie. The next question is from Candace, and I might be wrong, but I think it's incomplete and I couldn't find the rest of the question. My Shiba Inu 6-year-old male dog, Remy, was diagnosed with a yeast ear infection back in June of last year. That led me down the path of Yeast protocol and leak gut protocol. I tried Yeast and he immediately got diarrhea, but I stayed the course because he was still energetic. When we finished, that, I went on the leak gut protocol and he got sick in that he didn't want to eat and threw up. So our customer service suggested I do a 2-week Yeast protocol, 2-week probiotic, and 2-week leak gut. We got the leak gut again, and then it's when the question stops. And I know that she's still here, but
Oh, maybe Candace, could you put, oh, there we go.
okay, yeah.
UCB
So
is great. The UCB is great because he eventually responded to it during the second treatment where his stool started being foreign but soft. Oops. So I thought we would do more UCBs, but Dr. Kangas said that we needed to treat the leaky gut or it would just keep getting yeast. So I gave him his first treatment of thorn digestive enzymes tonight, hoping for the best. He is also on Dr. Kangas GI tummy and colon rescue and gut ion support because she says it helps to fill the junctions that are separated in the gut. Forgive me if I forgot the medical terms, but I can't start on ion gut support for another 3 days.
days.
We're getting omega-3 index test as well as a nutritional panel on the 19th. I just sent an animal biome gut test yesterday. Finally, the wolf probiotic really helped Remy during this process.
The wolf and phytosynergy.
Yeah, but so I do want to know why some vets don't like probiotics regularly for animals. It really helped. Oh, is that this different person? No, it's the
Yes.
same person.
Oh, yes, yes. I do want to know why some vets don't like probiotics regularly for animals. It really helped with my Maine Coon
It's
Renee.
because I think it's because for the same reason I just said. When you're doing the same probiotic over and over and over and over and over again, and you're not rotating them and reintroducing different things. Also, you know, we have species specific probiotics, which is a whole different game altogether than just giving regular probiotics. But I think it's just because they aren't, I get nervous because probiotics, gut health and probiotics are they're two different sort of specialties, if you want to call them that. Really knowing and understanding probiotics takes a long time, and prebiotics and how they interact with each other and which ones, which ones work together better, which ones don't work together better. But everyone's allowed to for their own opinion, right? So, but what I was going to say when you were saying you didn't know what that is, the gut, what she's recommended ion gut support. That's fulvic and humic acid. So that's the same thing that's in our phytosflora, only it's in a powder instead of a liquid. So, and what it does is um, it does help to strengthen the junctions of the gut, right? So to create tight junctions. So I mean, all that's great and fine. The only thing is that I love Dr. Kangas. She's amazing, but I would sort of disagree a little bit. And I mean, I shouldn't say I disagree. I just have a different take on it. So that's why we do that rotation thing. That's why we do sort of yeasty beast, then we do the leaky gut, then we go into a regular probiotic, whether that's phytospora because of the fulvic and humic acid and the specific dog probiotic, the species specific probiotic, and then we go back to yeasty beast because she's right. But she's right. Like, if you don't heal the leaky gut, he's going to keep getting yeast. But what also happens is yeast causes leaky gut. So, having yeast in the gut actually destroys the gut lining. The yeast itself destroys the gut lining. So, while I understand what she's saying, it's a really crappy vicious cycle, right? What comes first, the chicken or the egg? What comes first, leaky gut or yeast, right? Do you have leaky gut and that's why you got yeast? Did your gut microbiome? Probably, right? Probably, because anything that causes yeast will cause, like antibiotics cause yeast. The imbalance of certain bacterias cause yeast. Crappy food can cause yeast. There's a million different things that can cause yeast. And then the yeast can cause leaky gut. So what comes first? The yeast or leaky gut and then the yeast. But at the end of the day, if you have yeast and the yeast stays there, it will continue to um, decrease the integrity of the lining of the gut. So you're kind of in this vicious circle. So that's just why we do this rotational protocol so that we're kind of taking small steps, right? We're not trying to eradicate the yeast so that then you don't get so that we're trying to stop having a Herx reaction. Yet we're also understanding that you have to heal the integrity of the gut lining. So I what I want to say to the end of this kind of is that chronic inflammation is also a major contributor to leaky gut syndrome. And probiotics, digestive enzymes are not the only thing that's needed to decrease inflammation. Things like vital defense that will help oxidative stress, helps to decrease the overall inflammatory response. Things like homeopathic medicine. So the gut seal that's in our leaky gut protocol, that's created and this is important too, that's created because I've been dealing with leaky gut for 25 years in my practice. And and what I find is even when let's say things heal, like let's say the junctions heal, you'll do an ultrasound or a CT scan and you will see thickening, right? Where the gut was chronically inflamed. And we used to always just call that inflammatory bowel disease or, um, you know, thickening of the gut lining. Well, thickening of the gut lining is either still chronic inflammatory response or it can be scarring as well from having it for so long. So using homeopathic remedies that help to break down the scar tissue at the same time the gut is healing helps more for long-term effect. So there is no be all end all one thing works to completely eradicate leaky gut syndrome, completely eradicate yeast. It's a it's a science in itself of, like I said before, allowing the body to work through the process. How long has the dog had leaky gut syndrome for? How long has this process been going on? So I think, you know, I don't know what's in her GI tummy and colon rescue. I'm not sure what's in that. But I know that the ion gut, it's amazing, but it's fulvic and humic acid. And it is very good for tightening and the integrity of the junctions of the gut. So that's a long, I think that's more rather than answering a question, it's trying to help people understand the process of what it actually means to heal a gut, heal leaky gut, along with if you've got secondary yeast, along with you have secondary pathogenic bacteria, or along with SIBO even, right? Like there's so many different layers.
Yeah. And let's go to one or two more questions.
Yeah, but the wolf probiotic and phytosynergy, she just got it today. Is that what she's saying? Finally, the wolf probiotic and phytogen really helped him during the process. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. And the reason that that makes sense is that the wolf probiotic has a very specific, three very specific species probiotics in it. It doesn't have any prebiotic in it other than turkey tail, which then also supports his immune system and the immune modulation process. And then phytosynergy is amazing for oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. So it makes sense that it helped them.
Thanks, Julie. And Julia is asking here, my dog is a 4 years and a half old golden retriever with a history of yeast-related skin issues. After starting the liver tonic, she developed a very strong die-off reaction. How should we safely begin her yeast protocol and leak gut treatment? We also have Vital Defense, Phytosflora, and the Wolf. When would be the appropriate time to introduce this for her?
So giving her liver tonic, she developed a strong die-off. That's interesting. That's the first time I've ever heard that. Hmm. I wish, is she still here?
Let me check. Yes, she is. She just replied in the chat.
Oh, okay. What does she do? What, hold on. What's good? Where is she? Yes, okay. When you say die off, what happened? And liver tonic was the only thing that you gave to your dog?
She said yes.
And was she more itchy? What did she how did she had hot spots all over her body. Wow. So the only thing I discharge just with liver tonic, that's really I've never ever heard that. So because I've never heard that, I can only guesstimate, I would say, that her liver, um, either liver pancreas, gallbladder, that area could have potentially been quite toxic, right? Like a lot of um she pushed out toxicity from her liver. I can't imagine. I mean, I think that's the only thing that I could, like I said, guesstimate what that could possibly be. So, if you're going to try to look at yeast, Um, you are definitely going to have to look at leaky gut after the fact, after you've dealt with the yeast. I think, honestly, I think I would start her with Vital Defense and do Vital Defense for like 3 weeks and just see how she's doing. Once once you've done the vital, like once she's been on Vital Defense for like 3 weeks, then I would start the wolf. And then I would only do Vital Defense and Wolf for like 2 months. Just stay on Vital Defense and Wolf for 2 months and see how she's doing with that. Um, then once if she's balancing out, let definitely let customer service know how she's doing just on Vital Defense and Wolf. And like I said, after 3 weeks, you'll know how she's responding to Vital Defense, and then you can start the Wolf and then stay on the Wolf and do that for about 3 months and let us know. Because she's obviously very sensitive if that's happened. And then let us know where she is with that. Then after that, what we probably will, if she's doing well, then what we'll probably recommend is alternating the wolf and phytophthora. So stopping the wolf or running out of the wolf, like I wouldn't stop it, I would run out of it. And then I would add phytophthora and keep her on the vital defense and see if she maintains status quo on phytophthora. If she does, then I would rotate phytophthora, wolf and keep her on vital defense. That should help to get her body stabilized where she won't have such a die-off reaction. Once she's there, let customer service know, and then we can help you move into either the the yeasty beast protocol or leaky gut protocol. We'll have to see.
Thanks, Julie. Um, Pamela is saying Happy New Year. She has a 12-and-a-half-year-old Siamese cat, and she's noticing gait change when he walks down steps. He also doesn't seem to really like her
Got it.
petting him when he's standing up, move his back down. He's fine with petting when he is laying down. Thinking he has joint stiffness or arthritis, and was looking at to our Jump for Joints and Potency Omega's liquid products, and she read to put on food, but was hoping it was okay to just squirt in his mouth directly, like what she does with liver tonic.
I know he'll get it and not something.
Yeah, I think it's like
Okay.
the
So
cat will probably be okay
it,
with having it,
it's fine. The only thing with
not bother.
what I would do, 100% you can squirt it right in his mouth. Um, that's fine. The only thing is jump for joints. I would mix with water and then squirt it in his mouth. So take jump for joints, put 2 pumps or whatever it is, 2 or 3 pumps, whatever we recommend. Um, put it in water. So like just use maybe, I don't know, half a cup of water, quarter cup of water, a spring water, not water like tap water with fluoride or anything in it. Put it in the water, stir it, and then put it in his mouth. Like use like half a teaspoon and put it in his mouth. Because it can be a bit strong to just go straight in his mouth, and I don't want him to be then he's like turned off of it. But definitely, and if he's that bad, like fine petting when he's lying down, but he moves his back down, and if he's kind of like getting gait changes and stuff, I would start him on it 3 times a day. And then after 3 times a day, like the jump for joints, then after 3 times a day, go to twice a day. And then maybe 3 times a day, maybe for a week. Then go to twice a day for a week. And then see if you, along with if you're on potency too, see if you can just go to once a day. But if you can't and he needs to stay on it twice a day or 3 times a day, that's totally fine. As long as he's improving and or stabilizing for sure. You should see an improvement for sure.
Thanks. Do you think we have time for one last question, or should we
Yeah, we can
wrap
do
up?
the asthma cat.
Okay, so Sandra is asking, my cat seems to have allergies and asthma. What supplements can I give him? He has 5.
I would say the main thing for that is our feline gut soothe is really, really, really good for asthma, for allergies and asthma, because of the N-acetylglucosamine. It's so helpful for asthma. for cats. I can't even tell you. So, uh, feline gut soothe and feline gut soothe. And if I would start with feline gut soothe, liver tonic, and phytosynergy.
She's saying that he's on Gutsoot, Phytosynergy, and Turkey Tail for months.
Oh, he has been. Okay. And he's not any better? Is he any better on? Oh,
His same, I guess. She said same.
the same. He's the same. Okay. So then I would, oh, the same, sorry. Okay. So then I would keep him on that. I would still continue to keep him on that because we don't know whether he would be declining if he wasn't on it, you know. But I mean I'm just gonna have to say I would homeopathy, right? For asthma. It's really incredible. I would get a hold of his energy is good, but he's very congested. Congested in his nose or in his chest. Sneezes. Okay. All right. So then you know what I would do? And has asthma attacks. I would contact Andrea Ring. In the meantime, if you could get our rebalancer and our go-to and give him um rebalancer twice a day and give him rebalancer twice a day for a week and give him go to um this and go to as well twice a day for a week. And if you see that he's better, then you could either back off, but if you back off and he starts to get bad again, then you can keep him on it twice a day. Like you can just continue keeping him on it twice a day. But then I would really try who is the homeopath? Oh, there's recommended. It's Andrea Ring. I would definitely get a hold of Andrea. Homeopathy is brilliant for congested asthmatic cats. But I would continue him for sure on feline gut soothe and for in liver tonic and phytosynergy for sure. I would keep him on that. And vital defense. You know what? I would also try Vital Defense because it's so good for the lungs. It's amazing, amazing for lungs. So I would actually try adding Vital Defense to this. And when you add Vital Defense, you can stop Phytosynergy. It's got a really long shelf life. You can just, stop it for a while and replace it with Vital Defense and see how that goes as well. But yeah, there's lots and lots of really good remedies for asthma with cats for cats. We saw tons of asthmatic cats at our clinic.
Amazing. That's it. Thank you. Thank you,
All
Julie.
right.
I wanna just say a few things to wrap up the webinar, as I always say. So, I just want to tell you all that we are ending the webinar just because it's very late now for me and Julie. Even otherwise, I bet Julie will be staying with you guys for another 1 or 2 hours. And I know that we still have some questions to be answered. I understand how frustrating this can be. For those who didn't get their questions answered today, please join our community on Facebook, the Adorbis Collective. You can post your question there and we will be glad to help you. We always have someone from our team there. The people in the community are also amazing and they will be glad to help you guys. You can also send us the question to our customer service on questions@adorbis.com. I would like to thank everyone who joined us today for all the questions that you guys posted. And of course, you, Julie, for your time and valuable knowledge that you shared with us. Do you have any final words to
I'm
wrap
just
up this first webinar?
I'm just taking a picture of this one person. That's the
Oh,
question.
yeah.
Um, and then hopefully do we have everybody's emails?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we do. Okay. So we can send, I'll just remind me and I'll
Okay.
send something. No, I wish there was a way that I could, how many people are still on ours? There's still 122 people.
Yeah.
Um, you know what might be nice is if instead of, the Q&As are really, really helpful for people. And I know that there's, people are getting information, just like listening to it for their animals. But I'm wondering, if anybody wants to email us with a suggestion of, you know, what kind of a seminar might be more helpful for them, or some ideas of especially people that are often on the AJAs, like maybe they could give us some suggestions about what about AJAs are the most helpful, right? So that we can maybe gear things more to that end as well. Like we really like your input, like suggestions.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to send us suggestions about how we can elevate our AJAs, or maybe do, if anybody's thinking like I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe some topics, some like you said, suggestions to improve. We are always
Yeah.
aiming to
There's,
do some different
yeah.
things.
And it's been been in such an interesting process for me too, because, when I first started ABA 10 years ago, people didn't even know what leaky gut was, and probiotics were like not all that well researched, and now I almost feel like I need to do a probiotic like webinar, like just on probiotics or just on prebiotics, and just like the philosophies. And because like I said, everybody's entitled to their own philosophy, and with me, it's mostly from my experience, right? That I draw from. So yeah, thanks everybody for showing up. I wish I could answer everybody's questions. I just can't stand it when I can't. But thank you so much and have a wonderful night.
Thank you. And again, I wish you all a great night to you, Julie. And remember to subscribe to our newsletter. You can sign up on our website to get all the information about Outdoor Bees, our promos, new blog postings, and future Ask Julie Anything sessions. And that's it. We are already having like getting some suggestions here in the chat. I can check
Oh,
the chat later. Yes, people are asking for webinars about our products, webinars just about probiotics. So we can maybe think about some other things
yeah,
to
for
do
sure.
during the year. Yes.
Yeah, it's always nice to have people's input for sure. We welcome that.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you again,
Okay.
Julie. Goodbye. Have a great night and an amazing year for everyone and stay safe.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.